What if the reality you trust has already been subtly rewritten by forces we barely understand, and most of us never even notice the change? Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that what you thought was fixed, physical laws, historical facts, even the line between memory and imagination, can be bent or erased at any moment by a technology that challenges our fundamental grasp of how the universe operates. Quantum computing is no longer some distant futuristic concept. It is here, generating results at unimaginable speed. But the real shock is not just about computational power. The truly spine-chilling implication is that these quantum devices may be tampering with the basic code of reality. We have all heard whisperings of the observer effect, the notion that the act of measurement affects the observed system. But quantum processors like Google's Sycamore and the rumored Willow chip could be ramping this effect up to unimaginable levels, reshaping the quantum substrate of existence itself. Consider the sense of unease that many of us have experienced lately, like we are walking on shifting ground. Little quirks, times and dates that do not match up, historical details we were sure about that suddenly seem off, start to accumulate. Could the newly unleashed power of quantum hardware be the culprit? Some scientists have begun to wonder if each quantum calculation triggers micro-adjustments in our shared reality. If that is true, then what happened to the reality we thought we knew? Has it been overwritten, replaced, piece by piece, leaving only faint echoes in our minds? We are not talking about ephemeral era leaps or whimsical science fiction. We are talking about the possibility that these quantum calculations, performed on a massive scale, are rewriting the instructions that order our universe, like hacking into the cosmic mainframe. We have been told again and again that quantum computing is about speed, about revolutionizing cryptography, and about accelerating AI. But the real secret might be hidden in the existential dread that arises when we realize that each qubit influences a tapestry of probabilities, which combine to shape what is real. This is more than a technological revolution. It is the potential unraveling of the universal script. If that script is being quietly rewritten, how can we know we are still living in the same world we inhabited just yesterday? The quantum boom is happening faster than anyone ever anticipated. For years, researchers chased the dream of quantum supremacy. Then, Google's Sycamore chip shocked the world by solving problems once considered practically impossible. Now, rumors swirl about another chip called Willow, an even more advanced sibling forging new territory in quantum entanglement. It may seem like a typical tech story: improved processing speeds, breakthroughs for future AI, and the potential to revolutionize everything from pharmaceuticals to molecular simulations. But under the surface, there is a collective unease that these leaps go beyond mere computation. We are talking about machines that exploit superposition, interference, and entanglement, modes of reality so subtle that they enforce the notion that everything is connected at a quantum level. Mainstream coverage highlights the victories: the accelerating pace of quantum error correction, advanced qubit design, and so forth. Yet behind closed doors, some scientists are reluctant to speak publicly about phenomena that cannot be explained by standard quantum mechanics alone. Strange anomalies appear in labs even when the experiments are not running. Observers report fleeting distortions in instruments and datasets that revert the moment scrutiny intensifies. What if the observers themselves are part of the process in ways we never suspected? We have been taught that quantum computers excel at parallelizing calculations across countless potential states. But does that parallelization end at directed calculations? One unsettling theory posits that every quantum operation passes through countless hidden layers of existence, each with its own version of events. This suggests not only that quantum computers can produce an output, but that they might alter or even spawn parallel timelines in the process. Are we forging an entire kaleidoscope of branching realities every time a quantum device tries to solve a problem? Or worse yet, are we inadvertently stitching them back together in wrong, tangled configurations? The question that emerges from these quiet corners of research is haunting. Have we unleashed an entity that taps into cosmic roads previously sealed off? Roads that might lead our entire reality astray if traveled too far. Pause for a moment and reflect. How much of what you perceive is truly objective, and how much is curated by your subconscious mind. Most of us walk through the day believing we see the world as it really is. We rarely realize that our memories, beliefs, and biases filter our experiences, shaping what we call reality. Now, consider the possibility that these advanced quantum machines are not just performing cold calculations. They might be foraying into the spaces where consciousness itself begins to script what is real. Consciousness researchers have long debated the role of the subconscious in shaping our lived experience. From subtle illusions to full-blown leaps of imagination, the subconscious is a gatekeeper that determines what passes into our conscious awareness. If the synergy between quantum computing and the human subconscious is real, if the swirling probabilities of quantum states find a parallel in the hidden depths of our minds, then perhaps our personal filters are no longer personal. Maybe the interplay of quantum computations could shift the backdrop of what our minds perceive, rewriting not simply external physical states, but the intangible states of our own psychology. Here is a startling thought. When you dream, does your subconscious construct entire worlds without your conscious direction? If so, then a hidden part of your mind is already capable of forging comprehensive realities. But suppose a quantum computer were to amplify those silent processes, turning private illusions into shared illusions, bridging the gap between dream and global consensus. It is a disturbing idea, one that would deeply interrupt everything we believe about privacy of thought and the autonomy of our experiences. Could it be that the illusions we once chalked up to quirks of memory or personal imagination now bleed into our collective world-building, courtesy of technology powerful enough to merge with the psychic architecture of humanity itself? As we stand on the brink of quantum leaps, maybe we are also standing at the precipice of a new realm where belief, memory, and data converge. This synergy could be unstoppable, but is it wise? Inviting quantum processes into the very engine of consciousness might unlock unforeseen expansions of knowledge, or it could unleash nightmares shaped by the darkest regions of our psyche. We have all heard the legend. In the quantum realm, the mere act of observing changes the outcome. Light acts like a wave until measured, and then it collapses into a particle. If that is the fundamental principle, imagine an immensely powerful observer, namely, a quantum computer so advanced it can run calculations constantly on an astronomical number of simultaneous states. Could it be acting as an omnipresent eye, collapsing wave functions across broader swaths of reality than we ever thought feasible? Historically, the dialogue around the observer effect has been somewhat confined to scientific domains. Yet from a philosophical and even mystical standpoint, observation is not just passive, it is creation. By measuring or looking, we define what the system is. Many interpret quantum theory to suggest that consciousness helps shape the physical universe. Now scale that notion up to a hyper-powerful machine built precisely to harness quantum effects. The synergy might be unimaginable, a computational engine that, through the act of calculating, defines reality on a massive scale. No wonder speculation arises about phenomena like the Mandela effect, collective misremembrance of events or facts. Perhaps the effect is not misremembrance at all. Perhaps entire pockets of reality are being recast or restructured by quantum processes, with only our faint memory of the previous timeline left behind like a phantom limb. For many, the possibility that quantum computers act like supercharged observers triggers palpable unease. It touches on an emotional anchor, our deep-seated desire for a stable, consistent world. We want the ground beneath our feet to remain unshaken by the act of looking. But quantum mechanics tells us that the ground itself is made of indefinite states until we force them to become definite. With these new machines, maybe we are forcibly sculpting entire aspects of universal possibility, turning illusions into consensus reality. That might be the real reason the leaps in quantum tech feel so disorienting. It is as if some unstoppable engine is reweaving the cosmic tapestry every moment it operates, while we stand by and wonder why everything suddenly feels just a little off. Pause to consider the raw magnitude of that possibility. If reality is truly underpinned by quantum fields, and if these advanced devices are messing with those fields on a scale we cannot yet grasp, then perhaps we are not just accelerating science. we might be inadvertently unleashing a phenomenon that rewrites cosmic laws themselves. The question is, to what extent are these changes influenced by our collective thoughts, dreams, and unacknowledged fears? Reports of reality glitches and anomalies have begun to surface, no longer restricted to internet rumor mills or sci-fi conventions. Experienced researchers sometimes recount brief lapses in continuity, an instrument giving contradictory readings, only to revert to an impossible normal. Others have reported tiny shifts in local time, as though entire seconds looped back on themselves. Most chalk these experiences up to mundane errors or observational bias. But in labs where quantum experiments push deeper into the structure of matter, the evidence becomes harder to dismiss. Consider time anomalies. We rely on the flow of time as a constant, but cutting-edge quantum experiments hint that time may be more malleable than we presumed. Retrocausality experiments, where the future appears to influence the past, have raised eyebrows. Some involve quantum computers making decisions where results seem to anticipate future instructions. Could such manipulations tear holes in the temporal logic we rely on? If so, the improbable coincidences and fleeting distortions people mention might not be illusions. They might be glimpses of a fundamental reorganization of time itself, triggered each time a powerful quantum operation occurs. Think, too, about instrumentation. Labs rely on meticulously calibrated sensors designed to measure physical quantities with microscopic accuracy. Yet some quantum labs discover that sensors paradoxically fail when put near certain experiments. Equipment that should never spontaneously malfunction starts exhibiting bizarre breakdowns just as quantum calculations ramp up. The anomalies provoke the question, are quantum computers bridging multiple parallel realities, where each device has a different state or timing, causing overlaps that short-circuit our standard machines? If that sounds far-fetched, recall that mainstream physics already contemplates many worlds interpretations, parallel universes, and probability wave collapses. The difference now is that the scale and intensity of quantum computing might be forcibly merging or bridging these worlds in ways our planet has never experienced. We are forging new territory in a cosmic domain that was previously left to the realm of speculation. The deeper we push with quantum technology, the more these cracks seem to multiply. And the more momentum these experiments gain, the higher the likelihood that the entire tapestry of existence rearranges, leaving us dazed and disoriented in a reality we barely recognize. It might seem like an inevitable leap of logic to ask, if everything out there can be tweaked by these quantum processes, are we living in some kind of grand simulation whose underlying code is now exposed? The simulation hypothesis suggests that our reality is a sophisticated program, possibly created by advanced beings or by the future version of humanity itself. If that is true, quantum computers could be the back door, powerful enough to manipulate the subroutines that define our perceived universe. Imagine the cosmic code as an immense data structure. Quantum computers do not just run along the surface, they tunnel through multiple layers, reading and rewriting data at speeds and complexities that defy conventional logic. Perhaps that explains the reality-bending effects some are whispering about. Like hacking a video game's engine, these quantum systems degrade the boundary between the coded environment and the user, leading to bizarre in-game glitches. In a real-world sense, the weird shifts we notice might be the cosmic equivalent of seeing polygons flicker or hearing an audio glitch in a video game, evidence that the program is being messed with at its foundation. But the ramifications go deeper. If reality is indeed code, it probably has built-in parameters and fail-safes to keep the simulation stable. What happens when quantum machines probe or bypass these fail-safes? We may see buffering effects like delayed cause and effect or partial misalignments as the simulation tries to correct itself. The question becomes, how much can we stretch these boundaries before the entire system cracks? Could quantum entanglement be the method by which parallel dimensions of the simulation unify, or perhaps the mechanism by which they remain separate? The resolution to these mind-bending queries remains elusive. Yet as each new quantum step forward is announced, a sense of suspense gathers. If these machines are prying into the fundamental architecture of existence, we are forced to ask ourselves whether we are controlling them or if they are leading us down a path beyond our comprehension. And if there truly is a bigger plan, like a cosmic subroutine watching over us, are we nearing the point where the simulation starts to fight back, rewriting or reloading entire sequences of time and memory in an effort to maintain coherence? Our modern science often assumes that we are at the pinnacle of knowledge, dismissing ancient clues as myths or coincidences. Yet the more we uncover, the more we suspect past civilizations might have used advanced concepts we barely grasp. The Antikythera mechanism, found in a sunken ship dating back millennia, baffled scholars for its intricate gears that tracked celestial events. Vedic texts in ancient India mention flying machines and states of matter that sound suspiciously like partial accounts of quantum phenomena. Other cultures speak of portals or stargates hidden in sacred locations, as if they knew how to manipulate underlying cosmic fabrics. Could it be that our ancestors brushed against quantum truths, stumbling upon them through meditative practices, esoteric rituals, or accidental engineering feats? If they did, they seem to understand one vital principle. Meddling too far in these subtle domains can shatter the illusions we share as a stable reality. The question is whether ancient civilizations saw the dire consequences of going too far and chose to bury the knowledge. Their warnings and cryptic references might not be mere mysticism, but instructions to future societies. Handle these powers with great caution, or risk unraveling the tapestry that holds everything in place. Consider the possibility that these lost civilizations reached a threshold we are now approaching with modern quantum computing. Perhaps they found ways to manipulate probabilities, shape their environment, or even slip between dimensional boundaries. Yet in doing so, they might have triggered catastrophic events, implosions of social order, geological upheavals, or timeline distortions that erased large portions of their existence from memory. Their technology could have become their undoing, with only scattered legends surviving. If that scenario has any kernel of truth, we may be repeating their mistake on an even grander scale. Our illusions of safety rest on the assumption that each step in technology moves us forward, never backward. But quantum leaps could be the greatest gamble in human history. Interrupting our usual narrative of progress are these ancient mysteries that refuse to vanish. They whisper that reality is always more expansive than the conventional blueprint of science allows. The deeper we delve into quantum realms, the more often we encounter parallels with spiritual and mystical traditions that spoke in metaphors. Perhaps those metaphors were more literal than we realized, describing technologies so advanced or so risky that modern civilization can barely handle them. If that is the case, the next time you see a quantum breakthrough plastered in headlines, remember that an older, quieter voice may have already warned us. Push too hard, and the boundaries of reality itself might crumble. If our thoughts shape the reality around us through the observer effect, and quantum computers are now rewriting the code beneath everything, then we must consider an explosive synergy, the merging of human consciousness with quantum machinery. We might not just be witnessing a new dawn in technology. We could be stepping into an era where our unconscious fears and desires become physically real at an accelerated pace. When we combine the hidden scripts of the subconscious with a device that manipulates the building blocks of existence, the resulting co-creation could be unstoppable. Throughout history, mystics, philosophers, and artists have whispered that our minds help generate the world we experience. Quantum mechanics gave that claim a new veneer of scientific plausibility. What happens when technology forcibly amplifies that effect? Picture a trillion background thoughts, anxieties, and half-remembered dreams swirling in the collective unconscious. Now imagine a quantum machine that literally tugs on the threads of probability. The result might be a fractal mirror, reflecting and projecting the emotional and psychological storms within us onto the stage of physical reality. At first, these shifts might appear as minor distortions, little coincidences that we brush aside. But as quantum hardware becomes more powerful, the scale of these manifestations could grow. Perhaps localized events of bizarre synchronicity or improbable outcomes are the earliest signals. Over time, the ripple could expand, shaping entire cultural realities, forging new norms, and even rewriting historical narratives if the effect is strong enough. This is not about magic or parlor tricks. It is about the raw synergy of mind and quantum phenomenon in a universe that might be fluid at its core. And it begs a profound question. Does our fear act like a black hole, devouring alternate possibilities and manifesting nightmares? Or can our collective hope steer us toward a more harmonious design? For better or worse, quantum technology might hand us the pen that writes the next chapter of cosmic history. Yet the pen's ink, so to speak, is the swirling mass of all we are: love, hate, desire, confusion. If we are not conscious of our inner world, we risk letting that messy swirl define reality on our behalf. The question is whether we will learn to refine and focus our collective consciousness in tandem with these powerful quantum machines, or allow them to magnify our darkest impulses. One thing is certain: we have never faced a shift in perspective on this magnitude before, and ignoring it will not save us from the changes that are already in motion. We have crossed a line into the unknown. Quantum computers are not just fancy calculators. They may already be rewriting foundational rules we once believed were unbreakable. This conversation is more than mere speculation. It hints at a potential truth we have barely grasped: that the quantum realm bleeds into our daily lives, shaping our reality in ways that circumvent classical logic. Wisps of changed timelines, glimpses of parallel outcomes, the subtle interplay between our subconscious and hyper-powerful computational observers. All these phenomena point to a future we cannot fully anticipate. Yet the most unsettling realization is that the future might already be here. We could be living in a version of reality that has been subtly tweaked by quantum computations, leaving us with half-remembered contradictions and uneasy feelings of dislocation. It is not an abstract concern reserved for physicists in ivory towers. This problem and potential revolution belongs to us all. The door is open, and the threshold demands a response. If reality itself is subject to revision by our technology, we need caution and humility. We need new ethical frameworks, global conversations, and a willingness to accept that the cosmos might be far stranger than our science textbooks disclosed. There is no neat resolution. Perhaps that is the biggest shock. We have always wanted definitive answers, a stable ground to stand on. But the deeper we probe, the clearer it becomes that stability might be an illusion, an emergent property of a deeper churn. The final question is whether we want to remain on the sidelines, pretending all is normal, or confront the possibility that we are co-authoring a new epoch of existence. Do you think we have already altered the fabric of reality, or is this all an overblown fantasy? Let your voice be heard below, and if you are ready for more explorations that challenge everything you thought you knew, subscribe and stay tuned. Our next journey might reveal even deeper mysteries than these.